We're trying to get some answers for families here.
Some school districts really don't want to talk about what we are about to talk about and about to show you. We're kicking off a week of special reports showing how students are coping during this pandemic.
Tonight, Fox 6 investigator Amanda St. Hilaire digs into the data, but as you're about to see, the numbers don't tell the whole story.
Take a couple more minutes to wrap up your responses.
For the last 400 days,
this is a Raisin in the Sun final project.
This has been school for more than 17,000 Milwaukee Public High School students, like Malik Taylor.
Before we got kicked out of school, my grades was top notch. My mentors would tell you, my grades was. Now, after this, I try to keep my grades up, but my grades fell dramatically, and I'm just trying to keep it up there where I can graduate this year.
Because to Malik, his GPA,
I commend you on enlisting,
is not just a number.
I'm gonna be the first military member in my family, but if I don't keep my grades up, then I won't be able to go to basic training.
After more than a year of pandemic learning,
hybrid caused my child to be depressed.
There has been a decline in attendance overall this year.
We wanted to know how many Maliks are out there. How do we measure the consequences of the different ways their school districts responded? Public records from the 10 largest school districts in southeast Wisconsin show grades took a hit. It happened in districts that stayed virtual all last semester, and in districts that were hybrid, even the ones offering fully in-person learning. So different districts making different decisions, seeing pretty much the same thing: sagging student performance. To understand what's going on, we talked to the people behind the numbers. Parents.
How do I even help this child?
Students.
I didn't realize how much I would be affected by it until now.
Educators.
What is happening to our students right now?
And of course, the people who answer to you. We asked all 10 school districts to go on camera. Kenosha, Racine, Waukesha, West Allis, West Milwaukee, and West Bend answered questions right away. Oak Creek, Franklin, Oconomowoc, and Sheboygan initially said no, but later agreed to talk.
Do you think families deserve to hear directly from you?
After we showed up at their school board meetings.
We just want to get someone who can answer those questions.
As for Milwaukee and Wauwatosa,
no one seems to want to talk about this, and I'm not sure why.
But first, we have to go back to a little more than a year ago.
Wow, what is everyone going to do?
Milwaukee Public Schools is forced to close
They just told us to pack our science books.
When Wisconsin school buildings closed, rapidly shifting to at-home learning.
Chaos, stress.
We thought we was going home for a weekend.
To district office.
Sites were blocked.
Mom, please, teacher.
Scared, we didn't know what was going on.
As best we could, as near every district could, just getting through it.
You'd think that would be when grades took a hit. But public records show the opposite. 5 school districts reported GPA improving or holding steady when the pandemic hit, only to drop the next semester. 6 saw fail rates initially go down, but like the virus, spike in the fall.
We all just kind of stopped doing work because our teachers told us that it didn't affect our grades either way. Unless they were getting better.
When the pandemic hit, Kenosha did not penalize students who stopped participating. West Allis, West Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine said grades could not get any worse than they were before buildings closed. Out of the 3,680 students in Wauwatosa's middle and high school buildings, records show only 1 failed any class that entire semester.
We have to take into consideration they couldn't email these things to us. Some people don't have transportation. It's an equity issue.
Did that allow some students to perhaps hit the cruise control button? Absolutely. I'm sure that it did. And that certainly was not the goal.
Fast forward to fall. An Algebra 2 teacher might have 25 kids in class, 15 who got there without mastering Algebra 1. This time grades could get worse. And they did.
All of a sudden, our teachers started assigning a lot more work.
And I felt like there was nothing I could do. And there was nothing I could hold on to get my grades back or just at least feel stable in school.
But those numbers don't tell the whole story.
I think the long-term effects are something that we'll have to watch.
Even the districts that went pass-fail gave students the option of letter grades or did not change their grading in the spring, saw more students fail classes in the fall.
We once found out on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock that starting immediately the next morning, everybody was going to be forced into this virtual environment for a week.
Last semester's shifts between hybrid, virtual, and in-person gave students whiplash.
Half the school would be in person, the other half would be online, and they would try to get you to have conversations with each other. And it would be very difficult to start a conversation about the lesson when half the time you couldn't hear the teacher.
Kids were getting lost again a little bit and trying to figure that out.
West Bend had a fully in-person option from the start and still saw a jump in students failing one or more classes.
Perhaps they were selecting in person, but they've been subject to quarantine 3 times and they've been in and out. So that uncertainty is still taking a toll on our students.
More certainty in the districts that stayed virtual all fall. But the numbers show that could not outweigh the initial fight for resources.
Our plan had to be paper-based.
We didn't get the packets until like maybe April.
The children didn't get Chromebooks had to be 6 to 7 weeks.
Orders that we had placed last May, early May, we finally got the last shipments of those last week.
Or the struggle behind the screen.
I think he got so comfortable learning this way, he didn't continue to give the effort.
Although virtual may seem easy, it's really not. It's very draining.
Because we not in the classroom to learn how to mix all of these different potions and everything.
So there's no easy way to untangle the numbers. But some school districts made the process even tougher. We started asking Milwaukee Public Schools for data in January. The district says it collected the information in February, but did not send us this one sheet of paper until April Fool's Day. The data's no joke, showing 46% of high school students failing one or more classes pre-pandemic, up to 55.9% last semester. We asked MPS for an interview. No response. But
you have Dr. Posley here.
We were able to briefly talk to the superintendent. Public records show that at a virtual press conference.
And I think it has been due to the shift to virtual learning and also, trying to meet all of the needs of all of our students. That is something that we do have to address as a district.
Over in Wauwatosa, the data shows a spike from 9% of students failing one or more classes to nearly 18%. The superintendent said no to repeated interview requests. His boss, board president Eric Jessup Anger, did not answer questions either. So we caught up with him.
Amanda St. Hilaire, Fox 6.
On his way into a school board meeting.
We've been trying to talk to someone from the district about student grades during the pandemic.
I'm sorry, I've got a meeting that starts literally in 5 minutes.
Can we catch you right after?
I can't guarantee that.
But 3 hours later, the board president was not any more eager to chat.
So I haven't seen the data that you're referring to, and without having it in front of me, I can't comment on that.
This is someone who votes on when and how students learn. And he's saying he hasn't seen the data showing how they're doing.
I'm gonna wish you my very best tonight. I'm gonna head home. It's pretty late, and we'll be in touch tomorrow.
Look, I'm 9 months pregnant. This isn't my idea of a good time either, but we're trying to get some answers for families here.
Apparently, there was no good time to talk. Because the next day, the district spokesperson again denied our request for anyone to talk on camera about how the pandemic is affecting students.
On the weekends.
Back in Milwaukee.
I'm tired, man.
Malik says things are starting to look up.
We're gonna get through this.
It's good to work through the challenge, Nola.
But even though more schools are coming back in person.
We're so far behind that it's to the point that we would have one day to learn all of World War I and then one day to learn all of World War II.
The story is far from over.
This will ripple for years to come.
All week on Fox 6, we're digging into the big issues. Plans to catch students up.
Everyone knows we have our work cut out for us.
How do you avoid burnout?
Mental health.
And I was in and out of psychiatric hospitals.
It just kind of felt like we were stranded.
And why it's so hard for parents to get basic information.
Our jaws dropped. It was worse than we ever imagined.
You're asking the right kinds of questions.
The right answers aren't always clear. What is clear? Students across districts, across learning models, are the ones dealing with the fallout. And there are some things the numbers just can't measure. Amanda St. Hilaire, Fox 6 Investigators.
Now, if you want to see how students are doing district by district, well, we have an interactive map for you on our website, fox6now.com. And we know this issue is so important to you, the parents, the students, the administrators, and that's why we're covering it all week long. Amanda will have more details about what she found tomorrow on the 8 a.m. hour of Fox 6 Wake Up. And if you're wondering what school districts are doing to catch students back up, well, we're back with that tomorrow night right here on Fox 6 News at 9. More news coming after the show.